So I typically don't do this, but I wanted to take this time to talk about something pretty serious. So last week, I was in front of the Tampa City Council. I usually try to make this all about businesses, and I swear this does relate to a small business that I know, love, and respect, and full disclosure, have represented as well, and may represent now in the future again. We're hearing today here, the Grand Cathedral Cigars here in Tampa, rated to be the #1 cigar bar in the world. We're privileged enough to be members there, and something happened last week that I still really just can't wrap my head around. So they find themselves in a dispute with the city council. The process that I have to tell you was one of the most disgusting things I've seen in my professional career. To see a small business owner come under siege with the city attorney, who, in my humble opinion, was very unethical in both how she presented the case, the way she brought the case, and how she represented the facts and the law to the city council, and to be continued on that topic because that's not going away. And then also some of the city councilors, I think in particular, Lynn Hurtak and Gwen Henderson, and their conduct as elected representatives. And listen, I mean, I've been doing this for 24 years. I've had judges, I've had counselors, I've had, council people, like whatever, disagree with me. It's not because you disagree with me that, and in fact, I always value opinions, but it was the level of disgust and things that were said at this hearing, the most unprofessional things, that I've ever seen at a quasi-judicial hearing. So here's the long and short of it. They believe that Grand Cathedral is improperly selling alcohol on a part of the premises. They don't give them a notice or a warning, as they've done in every other instance where they believe this to be the case. Legally, we believe they are 100% wrong, and they have no reason or ability to call them in violation because the state law prevails and they are looking under a supposed violation of local ordinance. But we'll leave that. That's a very legal argument, no problem. So we greatly, greatly disagree, with what they are saying. But it really came down to my level of disgust was with the improper, unprofessional, and just really childish manner and the way in which both of these city councilors decided to, put themselves out to the public. Gwen Henderson at one point equated this bar to the mafia. At one point she started talking about privilege. And as a white male, I hear privilege all the time. I can only assume, I've only ever heard of white privilege, so I assume she was talking about white privilege. I have no idea where that came from. In fact, the managing partner is an Asian minority woman, so I have zero idea where that came from. And they just, the privileged way in which they spoke and carried themselves and complained and tried to get this establishment, which they clearly had an axe to grind. And I will go into more details with this later, but I really wanted to share this and really just talk about and publicly call these people out, because I don't think that this is right. I don't care about what the result was and whether or not I agree with it. It's the manner in which we got there. Grand Cathedral Cigars, hands down, was denied due process. That's something guaranteed by every law all throughout the country, and especially in the U.S. Constitution. In this day and age, it's very weird for me to talk about all of these things because it's a basic fundamental right. And I think it's absurd the manner in which these supposed, elected officials carried themselves and just went on the attack. And it was just disgusting. And the remaining counselors, I think, did a very good job to come to a decision that was right and tried their very best. And whether or not I agree with them or not, I'm not here to bash anybody because they have a different opinion, but I truly do want to share, and I'm going to share more too, and I'm actually going to share some portions of my video from that public hearing, my comments. Full disclosure, I was ejected from that hearing. One of my proudest moments. I have zero problem, admitting to that. In fact, I threw my hand up and volunteered to leave, essentially because it was so disgusting to see the manner in which, public professionals would proceed and just carry themselves and just make up information and make up lies, or talk about things that were completely irrelevant to try to accomplish their goal. Like, they are supposed to hold themselves to a different standard, and we just didn't get it. So stay tuned, to be continued. You're certainly going to hear more from me, and I want to bring more light to the situation, because what's really scary to me is this establishment is run by a great lady, Angela Hugh. I've never had more respect for a business owner than this lady. Yes, I do consider her a personal friend. I have nothing but respect for her. And, you know, to know the level to which she tries to do the right thing and listen to legal counsel and follow all the rules and know the rules better than the city attorney. Yep, that's right. The city attorney couldn't even keep straight. You know, Susan Johnson Velez couldn't even keep straight what type of license they were talking about and what the supposed violation was, and, you know, started making up facts or talking about, you know, things that weren't facts, and the facts that didn't exist, you know, somehow became facts. So, you know, this video is certainly far longer than I would ever normally post, but I do want to share, because this is going to be a continuing, very serious, evolving situation for Grand Cathedral. And I want to keep this in mind for other similarly situated business owners, because if this can happen to them, after all of the things that they've done for the community and all of the legal advice that they've sought and all of the legal advice that they've paid for that says what they are doing is not a violation, what could happen to somebody without legal counsel? What could happen to somebody just truly trying to run their business? And if they upset or piss somebody off at city council, this is what could happen. Because the end result of that hearing, folks, which could change and, you know, could be subject to appeal or injunction, was that a liquor license was suspended for 7 days. Not the worst case scenario for anyone, but it was truly an indication of 2 women on that council who've never run a business in their life, having absolutely no respect or care in the world for the people that work there. And that was just also disgusting to me. There are employees that require, you know, a daily wage, you know, that are clearly not, you know, multimillionaires working as a bartender or whatever. I'm sure they do well. I'm not making light of any of that, but they could care less, and that was painfully obvious during that hearing. So I'm going to stop this video for now. For sure, post any of your comments and questions, and I'll be glad to comment, because this is absolutely a rapidly evolving situation. Thanks for listening, and thanks for tuning in.